Yeah, I think like it needs to be like that.
All right.
Because we need it to like come out maybe to here, you know?
Yeah.
Perfecto. Cool. So let's get started. We don't want to cover the whole thing. I guess the trick is just to barely touch it. Because the more, like if you push, it's going to start changing shape. I painted murals for 10 years, and while making this work and being in the community is wonderful, there's a part of it, of making public art, that is a little constraining, where the creative process only lasts for the time that you're making this little mock-up. There was part of me that needed more, that needed that moment of creating while you're making. Yeah, this part of the process is pretty much all instinctive. I just try to find like pressure points and tension on the mesh, and it kind of tells me where to go. So there's 20 different pieces that come together into one. They all fit into each other like a puzzle.
Tú puedes escribir música y leerla y tocarla.
Oye. My nature is very colorful, you know, like I want to express color. But once I choose colors, I have to kind of record what I'm doing. I numbered all the colors that I use. We've created our own kind of color numbers, you know. This piece actually has 67 colors. Part of it is very intuitive, the way that I'm choosing colors, but then I kind of have to put down a record of those decisions. I'm not that kind of personality where I like to plan and I'm organized, you know. It's something that I've had to learn. I think this is 31, yeah, and then this is 5. This is 22. Like I would probably just extend those lines, like up to here, yeah.
So I'm just usually looking at the map and trying to get to a point where I can know generally what our intention is and not have to be back and forth with each detail. Because we live in Brooklyn and we can't have space that just lets us put up what we want to see, I never quite get to see it fully put together. Marela's always got a secret in her back pocket, which is the final piece.
I've always felt the influence of patterns from textiles. The ways that color is being used in some of these is sophisticated. Like for example here, you know, just the uses of pink with this kind of earthy red and then a little yellow, and it's, you know, kind of unpredictable and exciting. That's sort of something that I look to do in my own work. Oh, this is my mom with me in Mexico. My mom is an anthropologist, so she actually led the research on this project. These ancient cultures use their clothing as a way to show their relationship to their universe, to the earth, to their community. And the amazing thing is that a lot of these symbols from the Mayan era are still being used today. So there's some kind of cultural resistance that happened through this clothing.
Marela, has lived half of her life, or over half of her life now, in the U.S., even though she's from Mexico. So there's a beautiful aspect that is kind of the return of her gifts back to kind of her home, the homeland. Even though it will be in the U.S. consulate, but.
And this is 36.
All that's really left here, I mean, the colors and pattern is obviously really shaping up here now, just to kind of dial in on some last taping and designs there, and then we're going to be pretty much done. This is usually, it's like 2 or 3 all-nighters, tearing out hair and biting nails. So yeah, the next month, Saturday night, we have a baby shower for this piece. And then the piece leaves on Tuesday. Like, there's a truck involved and there's a plane involved at some point. And then it lands in Mexico.
Thinking back to when I was 16 and was coming to the States, and I was really interested in the Mexican muralists. They were able to paint the history of Mexico in these very important buildings. Even though the politics have changed so much, you can still go to the National Palace and see the story of colonization and the revolution. It was kind of crazy that this opportunity came for me to do it in a place that it's also a building that is going to be there for a long time, and that has these connotations of, history. The piece can live for a long time.
Completa, muy bien. Sí, está fabuloso. Me gusta. Como que en un espacio así un poco rígido de reglas, como que esto le da un poco de flexibilidad y, no sé, como que aminora o atempera la rigidez de los protocolos.
I mean, there's so many problems with the immigration system today. The relationship between these two countries, the way that undocumented workers are treated, the way that people are being deported. And yet, there's stories of people who come here and like me, are able to now make art. I mean, I've been very lucky. So for me, to do this piece, it was like really meeting myself, kind of in the middle of it. I want to connect to the people that are like going through this transition. You're changing when you're going through the consulate, not just because you're getting a visa or a green card, but your life is changing. I know that there's part of me that has gone through this, that wants to give something to the people who are going through that change.